Now this is the most exciting of the trade locations because it's going to bring quite a lot of volatility with it. But as you'll see when we move on to the next slide, we're going to talk about three of the strategies you can utilize when talking about an open out of range and out of value area day type. Now, the first thing to understand is that we are completely opening out of balance. So when we open completely out of balance, high volatility. Right, high volatility means a lot of potential for a lot of very snappy, aggressive type moves, either up or down. Now, again, it's important to understand that the range potential in this example is completely undefined and unlimited. So when you get this day type or a gap, also known as a gap, how high or low the market goes is unlimited. No one knows. It's all dependent on how people respond to this very aggressive trade location. Again, remember, when we open out of range, we do get a lot of people being drawn into the market. They're forced to act because prices have moved very aggressively away from where they were trading in the previous session. So again, the size of the initial balance is quite important here. What I would say is, in terms of the initial balance, we do tend to see relatively wider initial balances than normal. And the reason is very simple, is that we have got people that are forced to act very early on as they respond to the very high or low prices. Now, time is a very key component in this when we open out a range, and the reason being is that what we initially see is the market will always try and fill in what we like to think of as the gap. So when we open, out of range from the previous day, the market will always try and fill that gap in. So time is crucial. If it cannot fill that gap in early, it's telling us about the potential likelihood for trend in the direction of the gap, or at least movement in the direction of the gap. So we have three scenarios that we're going to look at, in the next slide. But just let's go through the graphic depiction. As you can see, the market value previously was a lot higher. We then opened below the previous day's range. Straight away, the market sort of facilitated trade toward the downside. We saw prices move towards the downside. But then later on the day, once we took out the open, we started to see, prices drift a little bit higher. And again, note how when we open out of balance and out of range, the value area tends to be quite far away from the previous day's value area. So let's now go and take this third type of trade location and look at some of the very key strategies we can develop and take on when talking about a market being out of value and out of range.